Jake here for American Muscle, and today I'm taking a look at the MP Concepts 50-year style grille with LED lighting in silver for the 2016 to 2018 Camaro SS. Anniversary editions of any car are often kind of hard to come by, so if you missed out on snagging a 50th anniversary edition Camaro, don't fret, because now you can bring some of that signature style to your own SS. This lower grille is perfect for the Camaro owner who's looking to up their style game in a way that still looks OEM, but with the added something that will set their car apart from the rest of the pack. Now, the lower grille on standard Camaros is pretty plain. It leaves a bit to be desired when it comes to style, and aftermarket alternatives aren't necessarily going to be the way to go for everybody. So if you're looking to add a bit of subtle OEM plus feel to your build, then this 50th anniversary style grille is going to be just the ticket. Now, MP Concepts took CAD data directly from Chevrolet to make this look, feel, and fit just like a factory part. But the biggest difference between this and a stock Camaro grille are these fangs down here on the bottom, for lack of a better word. On this one, they're finished in this sort of white silvery color, and they also light up. That's right, these hide some cool LEDs that are gonna add yet another dose of aggressive style to your car. Now, you are gonna have to wire them in, but we'll talk about that more when we get to the installation portion of the video. Now, as you can see, this whole thing looks pretty slick now just sitting on the table, and it's gonna look better when these guys are lit up. Now, the rest of the grille is finished in this nice black, so it's gonna look good against any color of paint, and it will match with the upper grille on your Camaro as well. Now, the whole unit is made from injection molded ABS plastic, so it's strong and lightweight, and has a little bit of give to it, so it's gonna provide plenty of impact resistance and durability. Again, this is gonna look, act, and feel like an OEM part, but it doesn't have the cost of an OEM part. So this is gonna run you about $475, which that's not necessarily cheap for a grille, but it is certainly less than the equivalent part from Chevy themselves. And it's also less expensive than some of the other aftermarket grills out there. Now keep in mind, again, this one has that OEM fitment, the high quality materials, and those lights that are already built in with the wires included. So when you look at it from that perspective, I do think this represents a pretty good value for your money, especially if you want to keep your build a little more on the subtle side. As far as installation goes, this is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you should plan on it taking you about 2 hours to complete. Now that seems a little bit intense for what is just a grille, but remember that you are going to need to do a little bit of wiring for the lights. They do come pretty much set up and ready to go. You're just going to have to tap a power and ground. But you're also gonna need to remove the front bumper in order to get the stock grille out and get this one in. It is not a hard process though, and this new grille does mount up using all of your factory hardware, so this is certainly a job that you can do at home. And to show you just how to get it done, let's head over to the install bay right now.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, an extension, a 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, a 7mm socket, T15 Torx bit, a panel remover tool, a clip remover tool, a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, a wire stripper and crimper, scissors, a T-connector, and a male spade, and a test light. So our first step to removing the bumper is going to be removing all of the 7mm screws holding in our lip. So we can leave these two to kind of hold our lip in place so it doesn't fall and potentially crack on us while we're trying to remove it. So our next step is to remove these 4 T15 Torx screws to release our fender from our fender liner. So now that we have our fender liner screws out, we can go ahead and pull back on that and tuck it behind the tire a little bit. And then we're gonna have these 2 7mm screws. They're gonna be the 2 that are closest to the fender side. So we can remove those. The back one's gonna be a little hard to get to. So I'm gonna tuck it in there with a 1/4 inch ratchet. And now we can repeat that same process on the other side. So our next step is to remove these 4 7mm screws that are holding our bumper to our fender. And now with that done, we can repeat that same process on the other side. Now we can remove our 6 T15 screws and our 2 pop clips, and then we can remove our bumper. So now we're ready to remove our bumper. So we have these 2 little supports here that we can pop up and over to release those. Now we can release our bumper from our fender on both sides. So now we can remove our bumper and disconnect all of our electrical harnesses. So we have our 1 electrical connector underneath our driver's side headlight, kind of in the fender well area. All right, so now that we have our bumper removed from the car, we can go ahead and start working on getting the grill out. So we have these 2 clips here on this bumper support that we can take some needle nose pliers, pull it back, and remove this piece. So next we have these 4 clips on the edge that we can also just take our needle nose with, pull them out, So then we just have these two white tabs that we can push in and up with our fingers, and then the rest of these are all just push tabs. We can pull the grill right out. So you can use a little panel remover tool to make this job a little easier. Now we can pop out all of these clips holding in our wiring harness. So now with our factory grill uninstalled, we can install our new grill. So the first step will be just to push it into these little clips here. So now we can reconnect our wiring harness into our holes. Now we can attach our wiring harness. So next we can wire up our lights. So we're going to be using these little T connectors with a male end spade that'll slide right over top. So we can go ahead and strip our wires, get our male ends crimped down, and then we can install our T-clip. Now we can take our T connectors and we're going to be connecting them to the side marker light. And now we can reinstall our clips to hold our grill in. All right, so now we can reinstall our clips that hold our grill into the bumper. And now we can reinstall our bumper support with our 2 larger clips. All right, so now we can run our wiring harness and get it zip tied up into place. So we're just going to kind of follow this factory harness. So now coming back to the front of the car, we can reconnect our electrical harness. So I'm going to disconnect our side marker connection just to give us some more slack. So now that we have power to our lights, we can go ahead and take a test light and connect to ground. And then we can probe our connector, and when the light lights up, that's our positive. So now we can take our harness that we spliced into, and now that's lighting up, it means that's our power. So our white wire is going to be the power, and the black's going to be the ground. So now we can take our harness and connect our black wire to our black and our red wire to our white. And then we can reconnect our harness. All right, so now we can reinstall our front bumper. So we'll just lift it up and lay it into position, and then we can get all of our hardware in. So now we can reinstall our 2 push clips and our 6 T15 screws. So now we can go through and reinstall our 7mm screws. And now we can pull our fender liner back into place and reinstall our T15 screws. Now we can repeat that same process on the other side. Now we can reinstall our front lip. So coming down to right here, it has a location for your factory badge. So you can transfer that over from your stock grill to this one. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the MP Concepts SS 50-year style grill with LED lighting in silver for your 16 to 18 Camaro SS. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things Camaro, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.